I'm Andrew Patterson from interest.co.nz. Welcome to another in our Business Success series. With me today, Ian Daniel, the Vice President Asia Pacific for Navman Wireless. Hello, Ian.
Hi, Andrew.
This is a company, of course, that's been around for a while, more than a decade, and it's a name that many people will be familiar with. Navman, of course, originally started by Sir Peter Mayer, and yet the business has evolved and changed quite dramatically from those early days. Let's pick up the story from 2002 to where the company sits today.
Yeah, sure. Look, 2002 when I started, they had this amazing brand, and it was growing astronomically globally. Peter Mayer, amazing guy, a true visionary, and what he did with this business was something spectacular. So the first kind of piece of movement was in 2003 when the business got divested to a Fortune 500 company called Brunswick. The next kind of evolution in the life cycle was the divestiture from Brunswick, which happened in 2007. So the business really didn't get sold as a whole; it got broken up. It got broken up into and sold off to MITAC, who handled the turn-by-turn navigation side, to Navico, who took the marine side, and then there was a management buyout. A group of us basically backed the wireless business and the OEM module business into a private equity crowd out of Chicago called Prairie Capital. And then at the end of 2012, we actually divested the wireless business again, and we've recently done a deal with Danaher. So we've divested the business to Danaher, who are a Fortune 200 company based out of Washington, and it's a great result. We think we've found the perfect home for the business to carry on the growth globally.
And interesting, this site that we're on in Northcote in Auckland, at its peak had 750 staff working here. Today you have just 75.
Yeah, phenomenal. And the funny thing is about that as well, the MITAC guys actually still share downstairs with us. So, look, it's nice to still be on kind of home turf, you could say. But yeah, considering the headcount that we used to have in the business and what it is today, next door through that wall we had a massive factory with these SMT lines, just a ton of people. It was a monster of a business, that's for sure.
Now, of course, you don't look at the manufacturing your service as a software. So explain Navman Wireless today and how the business model actually works.
Sure. Well, look, we divested our hardware and firmware platform, the black box kind of ingenuity, if you like, the middle of last year. We've always kind of had to have a look. Is it a make-buy decision? If someone out there is doing it as good as we can, and they've got a bigger portfolio that we can leverage, it probably made sense to make that move. So the middle of last year, we actually we signed an agreement with a company called CalAmp, again a listed company in the US. So they're under contract to supply us some of our own IP back, and new boxes that they're going to manufacture that will integrate into the solution that we sell. So really, we're really morphing into a software as a service client or customer.
And it's all about fleet tracking. I mean, that's the core of the business.
It is all about fleet tracking, yeah. That is the core. So, very, very broad portfolio of customers we go after. We're in 14 countries. We've got all sorts of language drops. We go after certain verticals, etc. So, yeah, that's what we do.
Explain the nature of fleet tracking, because it's become very integrated now. And from the customer's point of view, what does fleet tracking deliver for them?
Look, at a really base level for the customer, it's all about driving productivity. It's about increasing efficiency in the business. It's about some great customer service wins, and it's about data. Data is the new oil. You need data. You aggregate that data with your back office, okay, and you drive benchmarking, you drive outcomes, and you drive the ROI in a business. That at an overarching high level is the concept.
And of course, it covers everything. I mean, you do school buses as well, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got some massive vertical clients in the US that are in the school bus vertical. We're in the construction equipment vertical. We're in the mining vertical. We're in the transport vertical. We're in the service industry, the sales vertical. Pretty much anything that moves at some point in time, Navman's probably nailed a tracking device to it and solved the solution to an end customer.
And any business that ends up having more than maybe a dozen vehicles or something will ultimately need a fleet tracking system?
Look, even less than that. Look, I've had consultants that have rung me up and said, hey, look, back in the day, look, I want to put a device in my car because I'm going and doing all this consulting work, but I'm really poor at keeping my time on site, which is billable. So he just wants to basically go in at the end of the month, track his location and how long he was there for, and that's who he's going to invoice Navman Wireless for, because he knows he was there for an hour and 45 minutes. So those are some of the hilarious stories we've got. But pretty much, anyone with a couple of vehicles, there's an opportunity for us to track, right up to a couple of thousand, which are our largest fleets.
And that's become a relatively inexpensive option these days?
Yeah, look, we believe so. I mean, a lot of it really is down to Peter Mayer way back in the day. Way back in 2001 when we came up with this concept. It was all about packet data. It was all about cheap packet data. Vodafone launched this network up in the UK. We designed this fleet-centric solution in New Zealand, but we actually didn't launch it in New Zealand first. We launched it in the UK because packet data gave us the ability to move a lot of information cheaply. Okay, and that was really the start of the business model and the business case to make this stack up financially, so you could have a good discussion with an end customer and they could see the return on investment. That's the challenge.
And of course, none of this could happen without GPS. I mean, that's what links it all together, isn't it? I mean, that's the marvel of the technology.
Yeah, and thank God it's free. It's awesome. Yeah.
When you develop all the software, because as you say, it's all about the back office now, and therefore is that where the opportunities will continue to lie in the future, you believe?
Look, we believe so, absolutely. Data and mining data is kind of like the new oil. Information is key. Getting those data points and making sure you can shake them out with a customer's information in their back office as well. How you aggregate that and deliver that to the customer is certainly key.
When innovation in this area kicks in, how does that? What form does it take? Are you innovating, customers coming to you with ideas? Is it a two-way process?
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's a bit of both. We run a lot of workshops with customers. We run a lot of webinars from a training perspective. We take a deep dive on how we train and touch our power users in the market. A lot of feedback through the product people as well. A very strong voice of the customer when we are looking to go to market with something as well. So look, you're always going to get great ideas that are coming out of R&D, that are coming out of product, that are coming out of the sales team, that are coming out of marketing, and that are certainly coming from the customer. Or you're looking over the fence at what some of the competition are doing. Some of the things that we might come up with might be a Me Too play versus sometimes you're going to lead the pack.
What's interesting about Navman Wireless too is that you have a very significant global footprint versus some larger competitors who only choose to remain in their own markets, clearly by virtue of the size. But that's another aspect about New Zealand, isn't it? We always have to get offshore fairly quickly when you're a business like this because the local market runs out, fairly soon.
Well, yeah, there's I don't want to be condescending, but there's no one here. Look, we love New Zealand. We've employed a lot of New Zealanders, but you run out of runway pretty quickly here. When you think it's the size of Sydney or half the size of Chicago, the markets we want to go after, you've got to spread your wings pretty quickly. And again, look at Pete. As soon as he launched this product globally, he didn't launch it in little old New Zealand. He launched it in the UK, and that actually is now our biggest market and has been from day one.
You've also got growth, fastest growing market at places like Mexico, for instance.
Yeah, and indeed, Mexico is one of the newest markets we've entered, and yeah, it's going along really, really well, and that's closely followed by Aussie. Aussie's been a great market for us as well.
How do you stay ahead of the game with the competition? Because obviously you have some world leading technology, and one is pretty low barriers to entry. Is it to get into the space?
Look, it's certainly got a lot lower, because there are people like Calamp now that manufacture boxes, so you don't need to basically understand that piece of the puzzle as far as firmware and the IP around making that hardware, okay, and how that all kind of comes together. So now you can pick that up off the shelf, and really then you've got to design some back-end software or a client application, etc., or push it over the web, or it's client based, who knows? But certainly the barrier to enter is much lower.
And when you're planning, when you're looking at your future for a company like Navman Wireless, what are you taking into consideration? What's your crystal ball telling about where this is going to go in the future?
We love our home today with Danaher. We have a look at Danaher and we think we're a very, very good fit. Danaher's MO globally, when you have a look at this, massive science and technology company, they like to dominate and own market share and roll up certain verticals. I think we're a great fit for the Danaher family. I think our geographical spread gives us the ability to touch other competitors in those regions and probably look to consolidate. The market globally, I think, is far too fragmented, and at the end of the day, when you have a fragmented market, there's going to be some sort of consolidation take place. And I think we are very, very well positioned to drive some of that. We've got a great platform, second to none. We've got the ability to literally, stand up an opportunity in a country in 8 to 12 weeks flat out. Okay, and that's getting language drops in there, getting the whole thing singing and dancing and commercially ready to go to a degree. So we can deploy very, very quickly, and that's experience and over time.
What sort of benefits do you get? Obviously, a Fortune 200 company is significant, but the cross-collaboration, does that occur very much? I mean, you're a very small part of a very, very large organisation, but do you feel that?
Look, it's just starting because, look, we've only just really, we've only just kind of been welcomed into the family, if you like. So, look, I've been to one leadership catch-up, and it was invigorating. It was, very, very smart people, and everyone wants to help. The way that Danaher business is run is, it's second to none. You can read about in the Harvard, kind of some Harvard Business Review, etc. DBS, Danaher Business Systems, and how that kind of is deployed in the company. It's really refreshing. It's very exciting. Hence I've had a lot of contact with a lot of other opcos or operating companies within that Danaher family that want to look at our technology, leverage our technology, or give us some ideas how we can collaborate and work together. So, yeah.
Because there's obviously concern about, businesses being sold overseas, but I suppose this is the flip side that comes out of it, is that there are synergistic and strategic benefits that do flow from those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And the bottom line is the business, when it got sold in 2007 or 2005, it went offshore from a Navman perspective. In 2007, we always took a massively global view. The senior management team that make up Navman Wireless, we are all over the show. We are all over the globe.
And what will success look like for Navman Wireless in the future?
I think success will look like the consolidation of the space globally. That's where we want to be. We want to be leading the charge. We want to be actually leading that consolidation. We think we've got the right platform. We've got great business models. We've got reliable, solid technology. We've got the right people. I think we can get it done.